With the task home and away, obviously you're going to want to install Python Pyscripter. 3 of you contact me to say they're not too sure which versions to put in. So if I expand that, and let's just make sure we get a version that's workable, because there's 2 issues. One is that you have the right versions that work together, and also and that you put Python on and then Pyscripter. So you put Python on first of all, which has all the coding elements and modules, and Pyscripter then is the IDE, the development environment, integrated development environment that we use in order to do our editing of code. So it's install Python first and then Pyscripter, but we've got to have the correct bit version. So there's 32-bit version of Python, and have Pyscripter 32-bit or 64-bit and 64-bit. Whichever one you use, you've got to use 32, 32, 64, 64. Okay, so let's go and have a look at the Python downloads first of all. So I can download this latest version, but I'd need a very late version of Pyscripter, and I was quite happy I'll do that. And if I install that, the installer comes up. I'm just going to go through the whole thing. Install, yes. Goes through the installation routine. Doesn't take too long to do. It's doing the 32-bit installation, so that's important to note that it's 32-bit. And it's done that, and everything's fine. So I don't need to click anything else. So there. So now I'm going to go and get the latest Pyscripter version, but I also want for that. So it takes me to 2.6 and so on. And let's go and have a look, see if this works with. I'll just note that Python is up and running on my machine here. Let's go alphabetically here. So there's the Python latest version. Let's put the IDE for Python. And there we are. It says 32-bit. So that's the key part there. So I'm now going Pyscripter, which let's go and have a look. And the zip file allows you to put it onto a memory stick and use it in a mobile way. Just plug the memory stick into a computer and you can use Python from the memory stick. But I'm going to install. This is 64-bit. That's a 64-bit edition there. So I'm going for 32-bit because I know that that was what Python was. So if I go to 32-bit here, your download will start shortly. It doesn't take too long. Depends what server they're using at SourceForge to get the file, but it's only 4 and a bit megabytes, nearly 5 megabytes to download, and there we are. So I'll start that installation. So this is a next. Crucially, there's no 64 appearing there, so that's fine. So I'll click on next. We'll create a desktop icon because I'd like to be able to click there, and I'm going to click install and click on next. Now, I'd like it if there was a problem here. Yes, good. So it could not properly initialize, so we must quit. So I'm going to go to my control panel, and well, in fact, let's just try it in the menu. I'm not too worried about that. Pyscripter. Let's use the latest version, and it won't run with the latest version of Python. Pyscripter is always trying to keep up with Python and their versions. So I'm now going to go to here. So I'm going to uninstall Pyscripter, which it's installed. So I'll just uninstall that. Don't uninstall any of your other software. This is just a nice free piece of software. So Pyscripter was uninstalled. So I'm now going to use a different version of Pyscripter to allow. So on the Pyscripter page, there's a Files tab, and I'm going to use one of the latest versions then to go with that Python. So let's go and have a look at 3.6. In fact, let's go to summary. Let's just go to it's 3.6.3 is the latest. I don't want the 64-bit setup. I want this setup. Okay, so I want it says 86. It's the old chipset type. So, but it's 3.6.3, but it is the 32-bit setup. It's the non-64 in essence. So this just takes a moment to download. And I'm going to click on this then, get it started, and this time it's going through. Let's add a desktop icon, install. It doesn't take too long to do. Click on next, and this time it'll load up the IDE. And the IDE, in fact, it's a very nice looking IDE, the new one. And so we get a new version. So I can now file new Python module, Control A, delete. So I can start with for 0,10 print I. And in fact, if I follow the rules, there we are. So let's run that, and there we are. We get our outputs there of 1 to 9 and so on. Okay.